ready to go.
You watch your videos back
It's
there.
on. It's Andre.
My God, what are you doing? Watching.
It's been Andre the whole time. He's been messing. Thank you very much. Welcome everyone to our March 2025 Council 2025 Council regular meeting. I will call this meeting to order. Madam Clerk.
Be it resolved that this regular meeting now open at 6:01 PM, moved by Councillor Shane, seconded by Councillor Bajelli.
Thank you. All in favor? Motion is carried. Is there any opening remarks by members of council? Seeing none, moving on to item 3, adoption of the agenda, either with amendments or addition or deletion. Madam Clerk.
That the Council of the Township of North Stormont deviate from the regular order of business and move section 14, unfinished business, to follow section 4, disclosure of pecuniary interest and nature thereof. Moved by Councillor Bajelli, seconded by Councillor Shane.
Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion is carried. Moving on to, or is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest?
Sorry, we have a resolution that we approved the agenda as amended.
Which one? Oh, sorry. So 3.2, with the adoption. Go ahead, Madam Clerk.
Be it resolved that the agenda be approved as amended, moved by Councillor Shane, seconded by Councillor Bajelli.
Any question, discussions on the agenda? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion is carried. Now, is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest and nature thereof? Seeing none. Moving on, so we do not have public or any delegation. So moving on to item 7, the adoption of minutes of our previous meetings.
Actually, we're sort of moving the unfinished business up. So we need to go to,
Oh, I thought
Yeah.
you had
so we're moving,
14.
yeah, we're moving 14-1. We're going to 14-1.
So the unfinished business of 14.1, Madam Clerk.
That the Council of the Township of North Stormont reconsiders the original request to receive and accept the final report and appendices for the villages of Chrysler, Finch, and Moose Creek Water and Wastewater Master Plan from RV Anderson Associates Limited, as presented at the February 25th and March 11th regular meetings of council. Moved by Councillor Bajelli, seconded by Councillor Shane.
Thank you. So we do not have an RV representative here, but I know Don is here, but I'll get any questions from members of council in regards to our master plan. Seeing none. Within respect to, I'm just more concerned, and maybe Don and Craig, both of you can step into this one, but in regards to now that the master plan is finalized, there's a lot of, I was kind of hoping as we move along to try to simplify it, dumb it down basically is what to see, but the intent is to see now that that's done, where do we go from here? So as far as the EA and getting shovels in the ground in Moose Creek. So can maybe one of you, maybe Craig could start if.
Through the chair, the CAO did have a conversation with our Aqua partners. I believe she's in the GTA. That's Natalie. And the RFQ is going to be pushed out. I believe it's as early as tomorrow. It's going to be going out to 6 engineering firms. We did exercise our discretion in sending it out to Canadian engineering firms only. So I think that's a broad enough spectrum of the industry to get 6 quotations for the EA. I don't know if Don had anything further to add, but it will be going out as of tomorrow for the EA.
So without going too deep into this, so when the EA goes out, from your experience, how long, what's the timeline of an EA to actually physically identifying the direction we're taking, but also starting the actual work to, I feel like I'm talking to developers. What they want to know is when can we increase our capacity? So the fact that we have the allocation report for 2024 is in this agenda. I think answers some of my questions as far as for not just Moose Creek, but also Finch and Chrysler moving forward. But do you have any idea as far as like a timeline for an EA study to be done and to understand when we'd anticipate getting going on this project?
So there was a timeline that was provided in the original proposal from Aqua Engineering. I believe Natalie was going to revise the table there and revise the dates for the timeline. We're also trying to meet the dates specified in the funding that the township has received to proceed with the upgrades to the Moose Creek sewage lagoon. But we'll have a better idea after we meet with Natalie, what we're looking at in terms of the timeline.
And again, it was as recently as a few hours ago that we spoke to our Hugh partners at the province. They don't anticipate any issues with our request for the dates. There was some conflict or discrepancy that we felt was it was not offline, but there was some confusion with some of their timelines. So our contact has indicated if we can provide these two answers, it would be considered. She doesn't anticipate any issues, but that will be done as, I believe, as early as tomorrow or the next day, that we're going to be sending that back to the province.
Okay. Any questions? Go ahead, Deputy Mayor Densham.
Yeah, a couple of things, both tied to Finch. So last meeting, we reported out on the fixes. Thank you very much for the fixes that were done, identifying the leaks and getting those fixed. I'm wondering whether or not they were incorporated. The fact was that, you know, it's expected to reduce our Finch water consumption by almost a third, which is very significant to the amount of water that's being used. And I'm wondering whether or not that needs to be adjusted in the plan in order to understand what the more realistic view of the projected water needs are going to be for Finch. Let me start with that one, and then I have a second question as well.
I believe, and Aqua can confirm, but I believe we have to wait to see what the stats are for 2025 in order to really realize what, or potentially realize what those water savings are. Is that accurate?
You'll see in the reserve capacity calculations that it doesn't so much look at the average day flow. You need to take the max day flow for the system when you're completing those calculations. So in spite of having completed some of those fixes, which definitely saved us on our average day consumption, right? It brought it down by almost 150 cubic meters a day. When I looked back over the last several years, maybe about 8 years or so, our max day flows are still in the 500 cubic meter per day range. So it's not going to alter our calculation by very much. When I played with some numbers, I think I'd gone from 64 units to maybe around 90.
Okay.
Is what I was getting. So it wasn't a huge change.
Okay. My second question was more on, so what I like about this, and when we're summarizing it, this is one page of the report that I like looking at, because to me, it represents a good summary, which is what's going to happen in what's being recommended to happen in 5-year segments. So things like installation of water meters, doing the hydrogeological investigation, EA, so on and so forth. So back to Finch, what it was suggesting is for the water master plan for Finch, doing a hydrogeological study and a class EA in years 0 to 5. First of all, I wasn't sure whether or not doing those were somewhat contingent on the excess of water we were using, and it sounds like maybe not based on your previous answer. But also then, it's not until years 15 and 20 when it actually suggests for Finch that we implement the supply strategy and implement the water storage strategy, which is at least 10 to 15 years after the hydrogeological investigation is done and the class EA study is done. Is that an issue, the fact that they're so far apart in terms of time? Like it's that we're doing the study, it's suggesting we do the study right up front, but we're actually not going to be implementing a plan for 15 years down the road?
So that's something, I mean, RV Anderson will be better to speak to,
Okay.
like why they've laid out the timeline in that fashion. I'm not 100%
Okay.
sure.
Okay. it just seemed strange to me, like I didn't know how long does a hydrogeological investigation or a Class EA expire after so many years and have to be redone again before significant work is done on a water system? And may it have to be done again, and are we potentially spending money that we'd have to re-spend again? So,
Yeah,
See what I- see what I'm
believe
saying?
it's an exercise in looking for an additional water source
okay,
is what they're looking at, so.
okay,
Maybe.
okay. Well, maybe that's a question we can ask R.V. Anderson. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. Any other questions?
Happy to see it done and happy we're moving forward with Moose Creek and good work pushing it. And I know it was not easy. So great work.
Perfect. Thank you. So the motion was read. Was it moved a second? So seeing no further questions, all in favor of the motion? Motion is carried. Moving on to item 14.2 in regards to our council remuneration for 2024. Madam Clerk.
That the Council of the Township of North Stormont reconsiders the original request to accept the 2024 Treasurer's Statement of Monies paid to elected officials of the Township of North Stormont remuneration as presented for information purposes at the March 11th regular meeting of council. Moved by Councillor Shane, seconded by Councillor Bajelli.
Thank you. Any questions in regards to our remuneration? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion is carried. Where's my mic? Coming back to number 3, so the adoption of our, no, sorry, that was back to our, yeah. Sorry, so item 7, so the adoption of our minutes of previous meetings.
Be it resolved that the following minutes be approved as presented. Special meeting, March 4th minutes, regular meeting, March 11th minutes, moved by Councillor Bajelli, second by Councillor Shane.
Thank you. Any questions in regards to this? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion's carried. So there is no committees or other local boards. So moving on to receiving of our monthly staff report and recommendation. So I guess it's not just, those are the reports, which I don't believe is this month. Am I correct, Craig? So the staff reports will be at the next council meeting.
Correct. They're
So
always
now
on the
we're
first
moving to
Tuesday of every month.
9.1, which is the live barn streaming contract.
That the Council of the Township of North Stormont approves report 08-2025 from the Director of Parks, Recreation and Facilities to enter into a contract with Live Barn for live streaming at the North Stormont Arena and authorizes administration to execute the contract. Moved by Councillor Shane, seconded by Councillor Bajelli.
Thank you. So before I go to questions, maybe Pierre, I had a discussion with Pierre, so I think if you want to maybe just give us an overview, might spark more questions or answer some, but I'll let you give us a brief overview of the program. So again, I'm not sure, Todd, it's just one.
We checked with the public. I got a message saying that it wasn't receiving sound. So
Through you, your worship, we've been streaming the meeting out. We've indicated from our point of view here, everything's working fine. So perhaps that individual might want to double check or refresh their stream.
You're good. Oh, and Mike's got the earpiece in, so sorry. Are you sorry, Pierre? Are you sure, Mike, that you're not hearing us because you're in the room now? Okay, go ahead.
Through the chair, Live Barn is a streaming contract that's pretty well available now in Eastern Ontario. A lot of arenas are going to this format for two reasons. One is for the EOH Hockey Association as abuse to referee coaches and all that, so they can live stream and go and see the video right away if something happened on the ice. And second of all, will allow somebody from far away to watch the game of their grandchildren or their nephew or nieces. They paid a membership to the live streaming and they're able to watch the game live. It's basically It's for minor hockey to see what's going on the ice, any abuse that's been done. And second of all, gives a chance to anybody to be a membership of the live stream and watch any games they want. We got the option of doing blackouts. Depends on what association says we don't want the live stream. We can black out that association. But most of them are all in favor of this. There's no cost to us. They supply their own internet. They do all the installation. They rely on memberships for the live streaming.
And as Pierre said, video streaming has become basically the commonplace in most of our little arenas. It is an incentive for spectator. See it as positive and the full access to the video should get more request. So there shouldn't be.
Thank you. Go ahead, Councillor Bajelli.
Just a quick question for you. Thank you, Pierre, for that. I'm just curious as the funding model for this, like how does it, you said, is it through subscriptions that the teams have to pay in order to fund this? Because obviously if the equipment's all coming from live stream, how are they recouping their costs?
It's through individual memberships, right? So you can join their live streaming. I don't know what it is, the cost per month per participant. And you can go and watch any games you want at the arena. Where the rest of the funding comes from the province from them, because there's no cost to us and there's no cost to our minor hockey association. It's fully supported by the province and membership.
So if a relative wanted to watch a game, they would have to sign up for a membership to be able to watch that game.
Correct.
Wherever it may be. Okay, thank you. The only other question that I had too would be with respect to signage then. So if these are in public places and if it's going to be in the stands or whatnot, will they provide us with signage to be able to put up in the arena or any other venue that just states that this event may be recorded?
Yeah, it's with the contract, it includes all the signage on the facility and around the facility. And usually this live streaming, I don't know if you had a chance to watch a live stream, there was a link to watch it. It's only what's going on the ice. So it moves with the players. The camera's at the middle of the ice or on the edge and it moves with the play. And that's it. It doesn't record on the lobby, doesn't record. It just records right on the ice as a live streaming.
Okay, go ahead, Councillor Shane.
Pierre, do you, like, what's the age groups that this will be live streaming? Like, do you foresee any issues with parents who have young kids playing that don't want this live streaming happening?
No, it's approved by the Eastern Ontario Hockey Association. So they decided which groups they want, but most of them, the players are on the ice. So it's part of the association that gets the rights to live stream. So the live streaming rights to the minor hockey SDNG will be done through the SDNG Association.
And I noticed one other thing when reading through the contract is that the township has to advertise for Live Barn on their website.
Yeah, it's a promotion we do with them. It's a partnership that we put their service there online, that if people wants to join the live streaming, there's a link to follow. And
Any question? Go ahead, Councillor McDonald.
I definitely, when I first read the report, thought it sounded really strange. Like I thought I wouldn't want my kids being live streamed. I get wanting to watch your grandkids or whatever play, but I thought it was strange because people are so adamant about their children not being photographed or put online. And I just thought, how are people allowing some company? Because when I briefly read the contract, obviously not in detail, but they have all this footage, right? Like I know we have a 30-day and then it's gone policy, but this company is just compiling all this footage of people for ever for, like, they own it. So I thought that was strange. I asked a friend who does a lot of this at the Charlene rink, and she saw the signage that said that there's surveillance, but thought it was the municipality. She didn't understand that this was a third party that has all these videos of all these kids and people. So she actually didn't really understand it. She just thought it was something that the school was offering, or the high school of the township. And I don't know if it matters how it's advertised, that people understand that this is a separate company, and whether or not that bothers. She thought it was fine, you know, as a parent of young kids. So, and I only got to speak to one person, but I just thought it seemed a little strange, but it seems like everyone's doing it. And you're right, your report is 100% accurate, Pierre. So I think you're on top of the trend, and it seems like a great funding model. It's completely free. We get 20% of the subscription revenue, but it just, from a privacy perspective, feels weird to me. I'll just leave it at that.
I can't use my speaker, but I did want to indicate that we would be putting the branding of live stream on the notices, so participants would be aware that this was a third party advertising, so.
Oh, go ahead, Deputy Mayor Lynch.
On the same theme, because my daughter is one who does not allow her kids to be on Facebook. And I'm assuming things like this could be pulled off and then put on Facebook involuntarily. Like, is everybody who's on the ice automatically recorded? Or is it just for specific games that get recorded, and therefore do the parents or the kids themselves, or adults even, have the opportunity to say, I don't want to be streamed on this, on this?
That's a very good question. I can certainly ask from them. But that came from Eastern Ontario Hockey. So obviously, they have that in other rinks. That just might be the new procedure that minor hockey are going with. You don't actually see any players' faces because they all got helmets on. So some of them just got a number in the back. Some of them got their name with the number in the back. So there's no actually close up. You do see the whole game, but there's no close up and focusing on one person. It is focused on the game itself.
But would there be the opportunity for a team to refuse being recorded? If
Yes,
the
and that's
team
why
and
the
the coach-
blackouts. So if let's say, I'll mention NGS Minor Hockey Association, if they say they permitted, their league is permitting this, but let's say the broom ball on Friday night says, no, we don't want anything recorded live stream, we black out that period.
Okay.
We have the option of blacking out any period we want, or so a team says we don't want it live stream, we can block off that section.
Yeah, on that same point, Steve, I don't know if you want us to add on to what you're saying, but I think one of the issues is, like, are the parents of these teams really going to know and be aware of it? Because Lisa, basically, I said, Lisa, did anyone ever, sorry, now I said who I talked to, but it doesn't really matter. Lisa, did anyone talk to you about it? Like, basically, are they seeking consent from anyone? And that, I think, is beyond our level of control of this. If we're supporting it, then we support it. But I really feel, as a parent, I would hope that they would ask my consent. And I don't think they do. I think you'd have to go and complain to your team or your league, and then have your league request to black it out. And probably there would be a debate about, some parents want it, some parents don't want it. I could see it getting messy. So I think it's a good point you raised.
Councillor Bajelli.
So I can provide a little like personal feedback on that as well, because I've seen it through my kids' sports as well. When you're playing on the team, you actually have to consent to that. So if they are signing up as part of the registration, if they are one of the leagues, so for instance, for us, it's football with one of them, they do state that these games will be live streamed. When you're signing up your child to play, you have to give consent to that. If you don't, they will let them know that we do have a player that's not, but for the most part, if they are in a league that are streaming it, they do require that as part of the registration process, that you give consent, that you waive the rights to them.
So just to follow up on that one again, and it sounds like, therefore, Pierre, if a team had one or a number of players who would not give consent, will it disqualify them from renting our ice? Or can they then, as a team, come to you and say, can you black this out? Otherwise, we don't want to rent from you.
I don't think we black it. Do we black it out?
Yes, through the chair, administration, or manager, Davina, I'll just say, or old timer says we don't want any live streaming from old timer games, we will black out that period. Let's say they play from 6 to 8:30, from 6 to 8:30 it'll be blacked out.
So can we make that a part of the registration, our rental process to say, by default, you're going to be recorded and here's how to take advantage of that offering. But if your team wishes not to, then please contact this person and we'll ensure you're blacked out. Just to be a little more proactive than reactive.
Yeah, it's through the chair, it's in our plan that before we even go, every team will be notified of this and they'll have the option of joining in. The Association of Minor Hockey or OBA, which is the broom ball, that might say, you know what, we want live streaming in our games. It'll be their option because it's free for them. If they say we don't want it, then it's still their option that we're not gonna live stream.
This question, if I could. So like I say, I think we're being extra careful from a privacy perspective. I think it's a really good offering, and I hope a lot of the teams will take advantage of it because I think it is a really interesting offering, and it's a way for parents to enjoy the game. And then if they want to go back after and watch their kid play or say, "Hey, look what my kid did," then they can.
Through the chair, it's live streaming, so
Only
they,
live streaming, so
yeah,
you
they
can't-
cannot go back. It's once it's live streaming, it's live streaming.
Okay, but I thought through FOI we said we could go back.
If you ask for FOI, they'll have to come and sign a form here, ask for the copy of video, and we need it something just up because I want to see the game. There's got to be something that happened to cause us to go and investigate. But they keep it for 30 days. So as our policy says, we have to keep it for 30 days. After 30 days, their videos are deleted. Nobody is allowed to keep them after 30 days. So we have 30 days to fill up a form to see if we request an investigation or an incident.
You want to add something to that?
I might have figured it out myself. I was thinking about a scenario where someone's injured and we're trying to go through their insurance. Could an insurance company get this and almost like, I don't know, disqualify someone from insurance because they'll say you were horsing around or acting stupid. I'm just like coming up. It worries me a little bit, but I guess anyone can FOI and you would disclose under any circumstances that met the MFIPA. So in theory, I'm an insurance company. As long as I ask 30 days, I can get that footage from. the
That's
township.
accurate. But that could happen at one of our rec facilities that has video
Has
surveillance too.
footage, surveillance. Okay.
Excuse me. So I'll add in my two. So when there is a benefit because I know it's not a kid anymore, a teenager that plays high level hockey, and the junior B were live streamed. There was a playoff. It's actually grandma could sit at her residence and watch her grandson. So that's a big benefit for somebody that she wouldn't have been able to go to the rink. Now, in regards to, is it always on? So like you say, a beer league, a team would have to come up and say, hey, turn that off and black it out. Do they have to do that every time? Or would we have somebody that knows that, okay, on Tuesday night, it's the old beer league that's playing and it would automatically get shut off, or how does that work?
Yeah, we can program them with a reservation system. So let's say the old timer says, the old timer's not nice, but the older folks playing hockey, if they say, we don't want no live streaming of the season, we already got their schedule of all the games they play. So it'll be blacked out. And last minute rentals or a rental, it's mostly for leagues. It's mostly for the OBA or hockey leagues that wants the live streaming, but the last minute rental will not be live streamed. So it'll be specific to our leagues, or if we got an organization, a broom ball, or even it could be a old timer says, no, it'd be cool if we were live stream and our wife will really know that we're at the arena. So
Just because you leave with your hockey bag does not mean you're going to play hockey.
And if it gives council some ease of mind, this is exactly what legal has indicated. This agreement seems fine. You have canvassed the material issue from a legal perspective. Privacy, no concern. The arena is a public place, provided the cameras are limited to public spaces. I do not see a privacy concern. For an FOI perspective, your comments are exactly right. The footage would be producible in a MFIPA request. Again, it was looked at quite in detail by our legal counsel, and they had no concerns with it.
And last is we are going to be reviewing coming up in the near future, our different sponsorship and advertising at the arena. This again enhances the
exposure.
exposure of people that, so it just maybe enhances people saying, hey, I'm going to put my, okay. So, with that said, seeing no further questions, the motion's on the table. So all in favor of the motion. Motion is carried. That was good discussion. So now moving on to a request for a transfer from reserve, item 9.2, Madam Clerk.
The Council of the Township of North Stormont approves Report 09-2025 from the Director of Parks, Recreation and Facilities to allow for a transfer of $3,650 from the Amalgamated Recreation Township Reserve for the replacement of the HVAC unit at Avonmore Hall, known as NSP, North Stormont Place. Moved by Councillor McDonald, second by Councillor Shane.
Okay, so before I take questions, so this is a needed piece. I know we're going to be having an amalgamated rec. We're going to have it sort of a committee of the whole, so that's something I think that will be beneficial to move, and this will all be discussed. So right now there is, Pierre, maybe just give us the history of this actual replacement that we're looking at.
Through the chair, we had a leak on the roof, so we did send a contractor up. I did notice that one of the exhausts from one of the furnace was just bubbling. So he notified me right away, and the next day we went with the Chenier Mechanical and went seeing what the issue was, and it's one of the furnace. How would they say that the pot itself wouldn't start up, so the furnace would just shut down. So we did 3 tests on it, and obviously the pot is cracked, so we can't turn it back on. So this furnace needs to be changed.
Any questions? Go ahead, Councillor or Deputy Mayor Densham.
No, I think this is coming from the same reserve we talked about last meeting, right?
Correct.
Okay, so from my perspective, that is the ARC's money. So how they spend their money is up to them from that perspective. I do believe that this, based on the current ARC agreement that you talked about, is something that should be covered by the rec, but I see that being the rec's money, and so I'm okay. But it did make me, when I was thinking about this on a broader scale, we kind of discovered that reserve at the last meeting, the fact that it existed, and kind of talked about what the definition of it was based on people's best memory, et cetera, et cetera. So in general, and this is something that I've kind of asked Leanne to take back to Kim about, is when it comes to all of our reserves, not just rec, but we tend to talk about at budget time, oh, we need a new, we're going to need a new tanker for this fire station, for example, in the future. So let's put $100,000 this year over into this fire reserve. And then let's say that's the last year of our term, the term switches over, and the next council comes in, and people don't remember why that 100,000 was put. And all of a sudden it starts getting spent, and you need a tanker, and Nancy's trying to convince anybody. So my request to Kim is, can we get it? I know she has a GL line for each of the different reserves we have. And Pierre was saying in Castleman, he has more detail underneath that. And that's what I would love to see with our reserves, is something with more detail, so that when council is making a decision in the moment to say, we want to put this money into this reserve, we're kind of earmarking it for this purpose. I'd love to have that recorded somewhere, so that when we look at a reserve, we're not scratching our head and thinking back 2 or 3 terms to say, why is that money there in the first place? So we can, we actually have some idea of what it's earmarked for, so that, again, we get into an urgent situation. You could still choose to spend that money on something else, but you know you're now taking it away from something that you've saved for in the past. So that's kind of my request, is can we get a bit more detail around some of the reserves and earmark discussions that take place?
And Kim's not here, but I support that, and even identifying, oh, where did that money come from? And then somebody says one thing and I'm going, no, I don't think so. You tend to, I think, oh, I got a good memory, but if you just had a detailed description of what it was aim for, I think would be very useful. So any other questions in regards to the Avamore furnace? Councillor McDonald.
I know respectfully that you tried to curtail any deeper discussion and I will respect that, but I just want to say that like, I don't like that we're having issues with the maintenance side. I'm glad that staff have put in place a maintenance contract, but that has to be part of this bigger discussion of who does what, what's appropriate, what our volunteers are able, willing, or have the capacity to do, and what we need to do as a municipality and what that will cost and what that all means. So it is a much bigger discussion, but like sort of these things keep coming up and it doesn't look good, at least maybe just because everything breaks at the same time and it's just how things are, but it feels like we got a bit of a problem.
And on that same note, sometimes we're talking about a $12 filter. So it's just that, you know, has been neglected or has been, so sometimes it's not always about money. It's just about having somebody take ownership and whether it's, so again, that will be discussions that can be had at our committee of the whole. So
if I may, Mr. Mayor, just to peace of mind to council, I am going to each recreation and making sure they have a maintenance agreement. And tomorrow we're meeting in Moose Creek and with two contractors and have a maintenance agreement for all in Moose Creek. So, and everything is invoiced to the township, so we can keep track that this is being done on our equipment to make sure it lasts what it's supposed to last and our service are done accurately. Then we'll invoice back to recreation, but at least the service will be done on our equipment.
thank you. Any further questions? Seeing none, motion as read is on the table. All in favor? Motion is carried. Thank you. Moving on to item 9.3 in regards to our annual development allocation report.
That the Council of the Township of North Stormont receives report 05-2025 from the Public Works Superintendent and approves the 2025 annual development allocation recommendation for the Finch, Chrysler, and Moose Creek municipal water and wastewater systems, and approves the recommendation to determine the annual development allocation for the year 2025. Moved by Deputy Mayor Dencham, second by Councilor McDonald.
Thank you. So before I ask for questions, whether Don or Craig, so right now we usually have the developers side and the infill in lots. In this report, I don't see, or am I missing something as far, or are they combined together? Excuse me.
Through the chair, they're combined, and I did want to add, and I wanted to thank Don Crump from Aqua coming on her personal time, and also we have Bradley Young from SEMA, the engineer who worked on this as well. There is a general number, as you can see, for example, Moose Creek, which is the lowest, we have 21 allocations. 80% of that 21 allocation is designated for developers. The other is for infill housing. So there'd be 17 allocations for, according to my calculations, for developers, and then 4 total for infill. And of course, council does have the discretion later on if we need to shift some of those allocations to suit the needs of the individual villages, then they have the capacity to do that.
Okay. Do I have questions from council? Allison?
I have to admit, I had a hard time even understanding the table, which was, I look at a lot of tables all the time. I don't really understand what it says. Is it saying that in Chrysler, for example, we can give 385 units of water? 385 lots can be serviced by water? Is that what the table says? Don, do you see? Yeah,
Yes.
that's what it says?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe if you can just, so when you say number of unconnected approved lots, so like right now, so is that what's remaining, say, from last year, that what was requested, and we're saying there's still 12? So what's, maybe explaining the number of connections, and then you've got unconnected approved lots and then uncommitted lots. So what's the, I'm not really getting it, like Allison said, I'm not really understanding what the connection, unconnected approved lots and uncommitted lots. Do you understand those three, how they've got this?
Yeah, So the township provided us the number of service connections in each of the systems, as well as provided us the number of lots that have already been approved, right? That we need to factor into the calculation. So assuming, so for instance, for Chrysler Water, we have 474 connections. We have 12 that are already reserved, right? That have already been handed out for 2024 and 2025 and not developed yet. Leaving us with 385 uncommitted lots.
And say the 12, could that be mostly like infill lots that are here and there in say Chrysler in this case, that are not connected to anything, but the connection is there? Is that what unconnected means?
There's a definition for that, and I provided that to Blake's department, and they gave me the number to put in.
To put in, okay. But at the end of the day, so the 385 is what we have. So I always look
Yes.
at, we have a draft plan that was submitted for 200, roughly 250, I think is what the full draft plan is for there. So that gives you kind of a look. So
I think that's what has been confusing me, is not understanding, because I guess in my mind, those are allocated, I guess, is how I feel. So I feel like I don't know what the number means, how much is left and what's coming in with Blanchard. I'm thinking of Chrysler, but could be anywhere. Is like, what is actually still available? But I guess I'm probably bleeding some of our master plan thinking into this yearly allocation thinking and getting a little bit mixed up between the two. So it's not an issue with your report.
and I'm not sure if the 250, now I gotta remember, my memory serves me right, if the 58 or so lots from Blanchard was in that or not. Yeah, so that I'd have to check. So in regards to the Moose Creek, the 21 was sort of, so what I'm looking at is if a developer, which there is a developer that's interested in moving forward, if they come up and say, hey, what do I have? So if we can allocate the 21, which some of are infill, so it wouldn't be the full 21, even if we say 12, well, that would inline them to say, okay, let's start phase 3. There's still, I'd say 14 connections left in phase 2 that's already allocated for, so that wouldn't count in the 21. Am I safe to say that, Donna?
That's already been considered. That's in the 23.
Perfect, okay, so that would be on the Valley Street, and then what's remaining on Villeneuve Street, so would be, so there's still roughly 7 or 6 town semi-detached, so there. And then when you jump into starting the third phase, if they were to be able to start with 12, it carries them, by the time they get to that, it carries them at least to get started and have confidence. And hopefully we can get this master or this EA done and start getting shovel in the ground to further push in 2027 or 20. I'm not sure that's the timeline I'm looking for, but to know when we can say, okay, now you can commit to the full allocation. So anyways, I don't know if I'm making myself clear, but go ahead.
It's getting clearer.
Yeah.
But so I know that at some point they can pay a fee and say, this is my connection, right? Is that what moves them from the uncommitted lots into the unconnected approved lots, is when they pay that fee? Is that right?
No, so they only,
Or
the
do they-
23 that's in the Moose Creek,
Right.
that's part of what we've allocated, and there's a small fee, I think, to do that. The 21 is now what we have additional.
They're up for grabs for anybody, the 21.
Yes.
But the 23, they paid the small fee and they said, this is mine.
And do we still have a bylaw that ties them where they are, there's for
There's a
up to
threshold.
2 years, and then we're allowed to say, okay, nothing's happening, we can pull them
Correct.
back or so on. So again, it's all related to moving our developments and stuff and working with these numbers. And right now it's tight, but I think at least it's positive to keep the wheels turning and not coming to a complete stop. So with that said, any questions? Right, seeing none. So again, thank you very much, Don, and I believe SEMA was also involved, and our Public Works. I think that's something that we can now, and it gives a sense of relief to our developers, the ones that are moving forward, because there's big investments that they're doing. And if you're saying, no, we have nothing, it comes tight. So now this is something I think that on a little of a positive note. So the motion as it reads, see no further questions, all in favor? Motion is carried. Item 9.4, our fourth quarter variance report. We will, I'll get our clerk to read the motion, but with Kim not being available tonight due to illness, I'd like to propose that we defer it to our next meeting and just have her there for any questions in regards to is that, okay, so I'll have you read it, Madam Clerk, and then we'll discuss that after, yeah.
That the Council of the Township of North Stormont accepts report FIN 03-2025 regarding fourth quarter variance report ending December 31st, 2024 for information purposes only. Moved by Councilor McDonald, second by Deputy Mayor Dencham.
So I will ask for a deferral. All in favor of deferring? Motion is carried. Okay, deferred. Yeah, it's always carried. Okay, moving on to our correspondence, item 11.1 to 11.5. Madam Clerk.
Be it resolved that the correspondence as listed as items 11.1 to 11.5 on the agenda be received. Moved by Deputy Mayor Dencham, seconded by Councilor McDonald.
Any questions, comments in regards to our correspondence? Go ahead, Councilor Bajelli.
Just a comment for our consideration, 11.2 from the Banque Alimentaire CCS. I thought it was quite concerning, just seeing, it's obviously an ask for financial assistance for them, but a little disconcerting to see their numbers from over the holidays between 2023 and 2024, and seeing it jump by almost 75% in our region, which is, it shows how much people have been struggling. So I think it's, it's definitely a benefit to our community to be able to help out where possible. So I just wanted to bring that to people's attention, that the numbers are unfortunately moving in the wrong direction.
Thank you. Any other comments? Seeing none, all in favor of our correspondence? Motion is carried. Moving on to, so this was, yeah, to item 12.1 in regards to ride share services.
Whereas rideshare services operate primarily.
Go ahead, yeah.
Unanimous support for us to defer the reading.
All in favor to defer. It's all in front of us. It's in the agenda. So with that, all in favor? Motion is to defer the motion. All in favor of, or any questions, sorry, any questions in regards to the motion as not read?
I'll just make a quick comment on it because I'm the one that actually pushed this forward as well. I'm glad to see this coming through. I'm going to save you reading the whole thing, but just for anyone watching, it has to do with the province bringing out a provincial framework to allow for companies like Uber and Lyft to be able to operate in rural municipalities as well without putting the burden squarely on us. So glad to see this moving forward, and I hope with the new government in place in Ontario that this is something that they will address in the short term.
Thank you. So with that said, all in favor of the motion, motion's carried. So we have gone through our unfinished business earlier, moving on to or no new business. So our schedule of our next meetings. No, sorry, scheduling of our meeting. So our next council regular meeting will be April the 8th, 2025, April 10th, 2025 for a quarter revision meeting at 3:30 in Moose Creek Community Hall, as well as April 22nd, 2025 for our second monthly regular council meeting at 6 o'clock. Coming on, so, sorry, go ahead.
Did you want to mention Oh, maybe you've got the grand opening.
With the coming events, but
Right.
yeah, so we'll just, move on to the, um, with the schedule regular meeting, so that was good. In regards to our coming events, I'd like to thank our rec director. I believe you had your hands on. So I'd like to see the events that do come. So we've got the Chrysler Community Center with their regular weekly bingo as well as their March 21st that just gone by for their community dinners. There's a comedy night again passed. So as we move forward, if we can get those for the coming events. So with Monkland, we do have on the 26th, which I believe is that tomorrow night? Yes, so tomorrow night, dance night in Monkland from 7 to 9, as well as a dart tournament on March 29th. So if we can get some stuff and it's actually good, I think, for members of council, because sometimes I'll hear about something and if I was made aware, so now I won't be able to, to see it. So, okay. Yeah, and if you want to
Through
add.
the chair, I know that some of the events have passed before tonight, but we wanted to keep them on there because the agenda is posted earlier before the events happen for the public. So when they're looking at it, they could at least see that.
Oh.
So that is why that some of them are on there, even though we're past
So
the date.
I got you. Yeah.
But if you prefer that we don't, we can set it up however you.
Oh,
wish
no,
to
no, no,
see it.
that's fine. Like I said, anything, somebody will go on the agenda on a Thursday night or Friday morning and possibly just prior to the weekend would have made it to maybe one of our events. So that's good. Next on the agenda, and Craig, am I good to confirm our grand opening date?
Through the chair, we just confirmed the date today. We solidified May 1st between 4 and 6 p.m. We will have the daycare participating, as council, I think, will endorse. There will be a tour for anybody who does attend, both elected officials and the general public, to see the amazing resource that we have right in this building. And our SDG partners and Todd Lee, who are helping me coordinate along with internal staff.
Perfect. So we will be sending out for some dignitaries. We dealt with the school board, so to have Mr. Ferguson and I believe John, I believe is his name. Okay. Was it Danner or? No. McAllister.
Don McAllister.
McAllister. So, but anyways, those are the gentlemen that when we first started negotiating to attain this nice building. Also, the daycare has mentioned that they will allow for a walk through the daycare as well as not just our township. So you'll get to see both ends of our building. And last, it's from 4 to 6. So we will have refreshments. So hopefully general public will be able to come and see our new administrative building. So with that said, is there any closing remarks from members of council?
Just thank Todd and Mike for being here to help with the IT support.
Yeah, maybe I should make a little note that, so we did have some technical difficulties at our last meeting, which was our inaugural first meeting of council in this, our new venue. So we do apologize. We're working out the kinks. We're hoping that and we appreciate your time to be with us and to be on the safe, to have IT standing there as well. So thank you very much, Mike and Todd. There is no closed session, so moving on to our ratification bylaw, Madam Clerk.
Be it resolved that bylaw number 2022-2025 being a bylaw to adopt, confirm, and ratify council's actions at its regular meeting of March 25th, 2025. Be read a first, second, and third time, passed, signed, and sealed in open council this 25th day of March 2025. Moved by Councillor McDonald, seconded by Councillor Bajelli.
Thank you. All in favor? Motion's carried, and the adjournment, please.
Be it resolved that this regular meeting adjourn at 6:55 PM. Moved by Deputy Mayor Densham, seconded by Councillor McDonald.
Thank you. All in favor? Motion is carried. Thank you very much, everyone. I hope I hope this winter stuff we've been getting in the last couple of days goes away, but enjoy the rest of the evening and have a